Thank you, Kaylee. Hello. How are you today? It's great to be with you. I have a story to share with you that is going to touch your heart and open what I call the sanctuary of inner mastery for your life. The sanctuary of inner mastery is where you are able to live life on your terms. Sound interesting? Life on your terms. We all have a use by date, right? So we're all out of here at some point. But how does that notion feel? Before I share my story, I'd like to ask you if you would raise a hand if you have lost someone from this life or maybe a much loved pet. Thank you. I see many of you, over 50% of you, have raised your hands. My heart feels your heart. I know all too well what it is like to lose someone that we love, including a much loved pet. It's heartbreaking, isn't it? Well, my story begins in the operating theatres because as a young scrub nurse, I had a profound experience which changed my acceptance of illness, disease, and my knowing of dying. I'm going to take you on this journey and hope that you will find that there is a very strong pull for you to want to know how to access the sanctuary of your inner mastery. I have been on this journey for 42 years now, and I have much to share with you between heaven and earth. So, back to the 70s, we had a lady come into the theatre that was having an abdominal tumour removed, and this wasn't the norm in the 70s. When we opened her, we got to the augmentum, which is a shield that protects your inner organs. Hers was grey and lumpy. The surgeon said, "Suture up." I was puzzled. And he saw the quizzical look in my eyes and he said, "Well, nurse, you can see the same thing as me. This lady has 14 days to live." Oh my gosh, my head was spinning. 14 days. Where, how, what? Where did he get that? Why not 21 days? Why not 35 days? Why 14? And then he went on to say that I was to go with him when he gave her the news. And to this day, that is not protocol. On our way, he asked me to hold her hand. He proceeded to tell her that when she was awake, she was to go home and be back in the hospital in 8 days. By this time, she knew something was very wrong and she was trying to fight her way out of the fog of the anaesthetic. Tears ran down her face. I was crying. It was incredible, not in a good way. Then he went on to tell her that in 8 days she would be very unwell and that she had 14 days to live. And we walked away and left her in tears and in shock. I cried on my way back to the theatres. On the 8th day, I was on the ward and I admitted her, and she was, just as he said, very unwell. On the 14th day, I laid her out. I made a promise to her that I would go on a journey of finding out more about illness, disease, and dying. And today I want to share with you that I have had many experiences over this 42 years between heaven and earth. And dying is not what you might think it is. For me, where we go after dying, it's heaven. For you, it might be nowhere. But in between, wouldn't you like to be able to live life on your terms? Well, I have the Gwenda method, and that's exactly what that does. It paves the way for you to live life and die on your terms.